Alaikum, assalamu alaikum, marhaba. Welcome everybody. It's AJ back. It is, for the record, 14 hours, 10 minutes. We are on the 9th day, October 2025. It is Thursday. Now, I'm trying to speak slow because when I normally speak, people say I speak too fast, which is fine, I get it. But here we are, for those who know AJ, everybody, King AJ, right? Troll. So basically, they have Papa Troll, the UK, and Uncle Sam, the United States of America, and then the Bulldog State of Israel, unlawful Jewish state, right? As we know. So this is the Bulldog State, and I'm in the spaces. I'm very outspoken. I speak about my own experience here in Canada. For example, the lands of the free, right? And if you're the United States of America, because when you're on social media, you jump on X or what have you, you have to have 1,000 subscribers or what have you before you can actually live stream on YouTube and talk to people. But there's also Google Meet, and it's like people are just so glued to one way of communication, one form of communication, no problem. So we're on X because when you're on LinkedIn, being an aerospace engineer, you're on LinkedIn, 15 plus years experience, and at the heart of the startup community, right? So semiconductor, right? Gadgets, every gizmos and gadgets that you have in your hand or dream about, because now suddenly the 21 points, 21 points, scam points, I call it, right? Advanced and brokered by no other than the very, basically chimp of the United States of America, right? The troll himself, right? Uncle Sam. So you have, the U.S. empire led by no other than trumpeteers. And you have the Trump's empire and the trumpeteers, basically because Trump is a businessman. So now they brokered this deal because, there's going to be economic development. There's going to be, obviously, trade deals. Now we have a two-state solution, which is a good step. Thumbs up. There's thumbs up. Good step. But here's the problem. The problem is this: you have not consulted with any Palestinian people, because of the war right now we are talking about, and there's a ceasefire, alhamdulillah, we can breathe, all right? We can have a cigarette. We can have a cigarette now, because otherwise you're gonna be bombarded, and when you have the gun to your head, you cannot fucking sign any agreement. You're being coerced, and when you go to the court of the law, the judge, they ask you, are you consciously, are you giving a free conscious decision, free will? Nobody's coercing you into making this decision, because fundamentally we are talking about the livelihood, the well-being of indigenous tribes. They call themselves Palestinian, not because you people just woke up 2 years ago for the genocide that is happening, and now we suddenly need to put a fucking number on a fucking sheep being slaughtered, right? Because they are goyim, the sheep, they can be slaughtered, no problem. Meanwhile, we continue with our justification for this war, and now we're gonna have to welcome this Nobel Peace Nobel, right? The Nobel Prize for Peace, right? Now we have the Trumps, and everybody, hallelujah, Trump. He can squat and show the bulldog how to behave, and everybody, he has managed, at least mainstream media would like to believe that single-handedly Trump and his stooges essentially went back and they coined some deals, because it's a one world order, one world government, digital ID, fucking fourth industrial revolution. It's not sci-fi when I'm talking to you from an engineering background. I finished aerospace electronic system design engineering right here at Carleton, right? Same thing. When you go through the life motion, right? And you grind and you go, you work, and you traverse different industries and markets. So you understand. You speak from experience. Now you live in this North America, and then we have Canada. We have high horse, the simps and the pimps from India. Like, nothing wrong with that. You want to come to the land, come, but you have to respect the rules of the law. I speak perfect English. I speak better English than most fucking people claiming to be Canadians. Go to fucking Quebec. You don't speak French, you're screwed. Not just in French, Quebecois. So you have to remember, it's about nations and tribes, and before nations were formed, there were tribes, and tribes are made of what? Clans, which is your immediate family, and I spoke about that in a previous video. 6 degree, and then add the 3 to that for extended family, so that's 9 degree, and then you have 3 degrees, that's your trusted group, right? So that's 12 degrees. So that's basically what you can call a community, and you can do buy and sell. That's what it is. At the end of the day, it's trust law, right? We talk about trust law. So this triangle that they have formed, and then this based on trust, but the problem is this: trust takes time to fail. So now you need the contract, right? So this is a trust, and then this is the contract. The contract, as you see, I mean, you sign. Now, none of the Palestinians people are privileged or privy to the Privy Council, right? The Privy Council, because now we can come in and decide your way of life, because, I mean, nobody asked for your fucking Teslas and scam vehicle, EV toys. I'm speak from experience. I'm an engineer. So I've been advancing this for a long time. We have a solution, yeah, but we have to talk to the people of the land. And again, if the issue is to go and rebuild, well, no problem. I have technology. If the war is about natural resources and territorial expansion, think of it this way. Well, all you got to do is basically, say to the people, well, I have an energy device that can generate electricity, right? 24 hours, 7 days, 364 days a year. This is simple. No gas, no diesel, no solar panels. So, okay, what's the problem? The problem is, because when you have something like this, it goes against the main narrative. It goes against the fucking, imperial, mindset. Because there's a man called Nikola Tesla. It's not like I'm the only person. Go to Africa. You don't have to go physically. Just go to YouTube. Africa, Burkina Faso and other, creative, right? Creative. You're a human being. You have some intelligence, hopefully. So, the people you go ask India. If you go and check why the ISO 222, which probably you don't even know what I just said, is the International Standard of Operation. International Standard of Operation. 222. Go look it up. Maybe you can, start reading and understanding how technology actually works before you can LARP and, advance. It's a good deal for the Palestinian, because now we are going to advance what? This fucking new pseudo-democratic, right? Trump resort, right? Where all the elites get to meet, right? That's the island, right? We need now to make it public, and, we're going to have our own version of the fuckery, but, we're going to call it under, basically a pseudo-democratic Zionist agenda, because guess what? Oh, well, the sheep don't know any better. We can just survey them. And the people are going to be living in peace, perceived peace, because they're being surveyed 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365. Like, it doesn't matter. Not everybody consent to this, but when you now advance and manufacture problems, and now it's no longer about, listen, it was never about Hamas, because Hamas, last I checked, was it came into power duly elected, pseudo-democratic, right? Perhaps 2000 when. 6 or 7, go check back. And then for the many years, nothing, we have heard nothing, the world heard nothing about anything Gaza, anything Hamas, nothing. Now, if the issue is about the people, the Gazan people, and now you have to basically evacuate, because you have bombarded ground zero, everything, not just ground zero, the Twin Towers, which basically, again, you don't have to ask AJ, you do your own research. Where do you stand? It's either you are for the slaughterhouse, genocide, there's no number, you have to put to fucking call a spade a spade. And then you go, oh, I can't see, it's, we can clutch now, you can be broski, and then you can basically, just, agree with the people on certain points, but then you reject majority points. Like, we're not here to fucking, it's a spade or not. Are you for slaughter and genocide, or are you, because last I checked, there are 156 nations. 156 nations, right? Under United Nations of what? Assembly, right? This is basically the proxy, the United Nation of fuckery, right? So now, there's consolidation of power. This is why there's a new system. This is under Agenda 21, and I keep talking about that, but people are just not listening, because suddenly this guy doesn't know. Yes, I live in the land. I tell you what fucking transpires, what results in these fucking blind policies. Because at the end of the day, when you are a country and you are Canada, for example, you have fucking to go sign on December the fucking in 2012. Right, December, you get the fucking Trudeau's, and they go and they sign, but because the footwork was already done under the Tories, the Harpers, so they had already done the footwork, right? So now we go and we sign fucking an agreement, okay, agenda green, fucking bullshit, energy bullshit, what have you. So this is why, because now you're going to be, not only you already have been taxed till the death of you, right? Until you die, you've been taxed to the max. No problem. Tax is not the issue, but it's the unlawful. When you now subject people, $1 trillion, this is the net zero scam. So I got censored from LinkedIn from 0 views to 300,000 views. Why? Oh, AJ cannot expose the fuckery and their basic math. So before you go advance your fuckery and try to enslave people, let alone piggyback on the cause of, the Jewish or the Gazan or what have you. This is about more everybody that concerns every human being, not just. But here's the fact: as a Palestinian indigenous, I speak for my cause, because I came here, the pursuit of life and happiness. I came to Canada organic. There's a difference between coming to the land by the boatload because the floodgate opens, right? And now once the floodgate opens, literally, they did that in fucking Ethiopia. And the same thing, with the forced migration, when you fucking go and ravage all the indigenous, land. Because, naturally, you don't fucking see a grizzly bear taking the boat, paddling all the way to the fucking North Pole because it's suddenly getting too hot, right? It doesn't fucking happen unless you bring in your Frankenstein pseudo fucking science. That's what we call it. It's Frankenstein. Like like a patch over a patch over a patch. This is software for you. You need the foundation, the hardware, and you are the body. You're a living machine. You're not a machine. You're a living human being. So you don't have to go to the fucking gas station and refuel or maybe perhaps change oil. Maybe that's your business. But at the end of the day, we need three things, right, to sustain any humanity. You need energy, right? Physical realm. We have physical realm. And then you have other realm, fuckery realm, belief, what have you, But fundamentally, we're here. Now, you have the freedom of what? Under any constitution, that is. If you are a Canadian, that is. Or if you are fucking American or anything for that matter. If you're a proud national, right? You're a proud national with your fucking country, because fuckery is not enough. Now we have to be called country, right? Understands nations. So now, either you become, you declare your nation, and, you have to assert who you are, and there's a process for that. It's very simple. You claim the name, because at the end of the day, it's your legal estate, and then trust account, that's your social security. This is the only reason why these laws and mandates apply to you, because you are, blindly not participating in the lawmaking process, and then you go to school, you go to the hamster wheel after you graduate and get a job, hopefully. Once you're in the hamster wheel, you have no idea of because you're not well versed with, except with one thing. You can have a PhD level of fuckery. It doesn't matter. If you're going to be having this tunnel vision and not understand how the world operates, have a business, small business. Like, you have to manage your finances. Maybe a corporation. Maybe you have to do something. You have to understand how the world works, and then for you to be able to go on and transact in the international market. Because again, this is where the previous system, the SWIFT, and basically the how the USA and the NATO and what have you can force. Because, they control the money supply. You have to fucking trade. How do you trade? You need money. What money? Well, US dollar. Why is the US dollar? Because it was what? The US dollar is the petrodollar for the last 50 years minimum. Because it's the world reserve currency. You cannot buy and transact over the international market with pesos. It doesn't work. You have to have what they call tender, legal money, right? Tender. It's a tender. Legal money is actually gold and silver, coinage act. Go look it up. So we can talk about till the cows come home, but until the Palestinian people, right? And now we have the internet. Look, man, you fucking have a criminal case. You don't have to show up, just under a tree perhaps, right? If you're lucky, because you're free, because until, they fucking have you in the slammer. 80% of the people are in the slammer. And that's systemic. You have to understand, whatever they bring under the guise of technological advancement, technocratic fucking AI power, surveillance state. AI power, surveillance state. That's it. What you're having is police state. So that's on AI, steroids. What happened in Gaza was a test ground. If you don't understand what that means, you have not understood how technology actually funnels down. Because you don't just fucking make the first, a generation of your product or goods and services, and that's it, done. Right? Because there's a market, it's going to evolve. The market is going to evolve. The technology is going to evolve. But you remain the fucking body, right? Like, last I checked, you can safely assume you have on average 100 years, right? But again, there's a lot of people less and a lot of people more. All depends. Right? So this is what brings us to natural versus artificial. So you are in the natural domain, and you stand and you speak up, because under any constitution, it is the freedom of what? Part 1 is the charter. Freedom of what? Freedom of thought. Because if you can't think, if you have no mind of your own, you're incapacitated. But if you can think, you can, right? That's thought. You thought. Then you have what? Freedom of belief. Because before you can believe anything, you have to have the ability to think, logic, and reason. But if you only want to be clutching in one side and then just, Islam people and defame people, that's prejudice, because you have not understood, because you've only been listening to one side of the story. Now you have to hear the second side of the story, and now you have the truth before your eyes, the evidence before your eyes, the facts. It's not like, someone's just talking about the Gaza war because I simply woke up one day and I decided to choose a random topic. Obviously, there's something is happening as we speak. So that's what it is, basically. You don't have to always go back to, either natural or the artificial. Before the machine, there was the human. And now, with this kind of agenda, 21, right? Or like I said, 2012, it's 21. What's 21? Okay, 21st century, right? Because it spans over, from the last century till this current century. And they give you now every 5 years, because the law takes time. It's a process. It's not like just rubber stamping, machine. No, you have to go through a process. You have to go and bring a motion to the fucking Parliament, House of Commons, what have you. Review the fucking motion, rubber stamp, and it's only a matter of time before you fucking buy what? And you infiltrate and penetrate. Not my words, their words. World Economic Forum. So you have to be astute and just be aware of what you're surrounding. If you live in a city called the nation capital of fuckery, right? I worked in high-tech Canada Park, and suddenly we have to see the whole demographic. And listen, there's again difference between organic migration, because you're only getting the cream of the crop. When you open the floodgate, everybody goes. Good, bad, criminal, doesn't matter. Everybody goes under the guise of the fabricated again. manufactured events. Because again, why else are we in war? Why else are we in war? For the last 80 years, why else are we in war? Why should the Palestinian now agree to terms and conditions that either you are going to be continue to be slaughtered, right? The genocide is not going to stop, or basically, so they have the gun on your head. So, or basically you agree to our terms and conditions. Now you choose. No shit. So, again, this is not. Maybe one of those videos that people do not understand the complexity and the root cause. It's not about ethnicity. It's not about fucking your belief system. It's about fundamental, natural, right? Unalienable natural rights and freedom. It's simple as that. If they want to have the ceasefire is there, but no, we have to negotiate. Who's negotiating? The people. The people, not the fucking the Uncle Sam and his corporation and fucking empire. The people have to. If you want to invest, great. I'm giving you the idea. Listen, I put where my mouth is. At the end of the day, a man is his word. I've been talking about this for the last 2 years. A box, 24 hours, 7 days, 364 days a year. Electricity on demand, right? Off grid, decentralized. You can go power whatever you want to power, and then we can have peace. It's that simple. But when you continue to just engage with wars and dismissing other people's ability just to go about life and happiness. I mean, call it what you call it. Musk is doing business. I can do business. How much dollars are you fucking investing? So for me, it's very simple. It's simple. It's $1, right? It's $1 just to participate and be part of that, and be beneficiary of that, because it's a public trust. It's a corporation, right? It's an incorporation. I'm making, I'm making my trust available to you. It's, instead of going and waiting through the motion until the technology comes to, fruition and it's on the market and there's an initial public offering